I do it. Time's unknown, but I'm gonna do it, right? So I'm live today, right now on LinkedIn and YouTube. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. Um, you know what? I checked out a new hotel today, right? So I had to come on and say, you know what? I couldn't do the live from the hotel because I had some other stuff to do, but I said I have to come on and talk about this hotel, right? So it's the Hyatt Place. As you can see, this is the Hyatt Place LAX. Now, Hyatt Place LAX has been, let's see, how long have they been around? Since 2021. So they opened in 2021. Of course, that's right after COVID, right? Um, but it, of course, is doing well now because it's not too far from SoFi and all that kind of stuff. So it's right there on Century Boulevard. It's a dual property, so it's Hyatt Place LAX and Hyatt House, same building. I want to say it's about a little bit over 300 rooms. I'm gonna say 320 rooms total, something like that. But part of them are Hyatt House and part of them are Hyatt Place. Now, how can you tell the difference between a Hyatt House and a Hyatt Place room? Because when I asked the gentleman, and Sergio Marquez is the director of sales and marketing there, right? So a lot of these dual properties, you go up the elevator, everything's common, all the space is common for the most part. The elevators are common. So you go up the elevator, you come out on a floor and you go either left to one brand or right to the other brand. Well, these are mixed in, so these are seamless. So it doesn't matter. It can be the same floor, but one could be a Hyatt House room and one can be a Hyatt Place room. And how you can tell the difference is Hyatt House has a kitchen and a Hyatt Place does not. See, I didn't even know the difference, right? I didn't know that was the distinctive difference because maybe I wasn't that well versed on Hyatt Place versus Hyatt House. Well, now I know, so I just got an education today. So, but the hotel rooms, in fact, this is one of the hotel rooms. This is a Hyatt Place right here that I'm actually looking at, or that you're looking at. So it was cool. So I went there for lunch and then got the tour. I had been to the hotel before, but kind of just hung out in the lobby just to kind of see the flow of it. But um, I talked. This is how this whole thing came about, right? So this is the learning for the day, right? The educational piece. So I always try to give some type of education when I do these kind of lives, right? So, but before I get into that, I'm just going to let you know this is Russell of Hotels. When you do these lives, I always want to make sure I leave you with at least three things: who I am, what I do, and how I can help, right? How I can help you. I'm Russell Edmond, Russell of Hotels. I do hotel site selection, which means I assist companies and organizations with finding that site for their meeting, their retreat, their conference, their convention. 10 rooms or more is considered a group. I've done from 10 rooms to 650 rooms on peak. Doesn't really matter the size. It's just what are the details of that meeting, right? My job is to make sure I find the right price for you, get all the space that you need, the meals, all that. And then when it comes to contract and pricing, I help you with that as well. The contract, any room, anything over 10 rooms, you're going to have to sign a sales agreement, right? So I look at the sales agreement just to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, so to speak, just so you don't get involved in anything that you don't need to get involved in, right? So that's what I do. That's how I help as far as when I say hotel site selection. Those are some of the things that I do. Let's see. Hold on one second. I have a comment, what I can put on the screen. This is from Randy Ferrig. Ferrig. I hope I'm saying that right. Hi. So, what location are you at? So, this is the Hyatt Place LAX. So, Los Angeles Airport. So, not too far from the first terminal at LAX, right? So, that would be maybe less than 2 minutes, right? So, I'm at LAX right there on Century Boulevard. So, Century Boulevard is the main road that comes out of LAX, or Los Angeles International Airport. So, this hotel was there since this was a conversion. It was an office building that's converted into a building. Faring, thank you. Faring, LOL, Faring. Faring. Okay, I like that. See, thank you for letting me know because, I come up with anything. Faring, I appreciate that. So, yeah, so no, the Hyatt Place, Hyatt House, it's a dual branded property, same building, same address, same front desk. You just, check in, and however you book, that's the room they're going to give you, right? So one Hyatt House has the kitchens in it. Hyatt Place doesn't have a kitchen, so that's how you tell the difference. Cool. I task force with the HH. You right down the street? The one right there on Century Boulevard? Yeah, I know that. So you work for Bob Alter? You work for Bob Alter? Am I right? Let me just see. I'm glad you're making comments so I can put your comments on the screen here. So he told me I mispronounced his name, so he told me it's Fairing. Okay. And then of course he said LOL. And then cool. He said I task force with the HH. All HH in Illinois. Okay. I thought you meant the one here at LAX because there's a HH right down the street from this hotel. So he's Randy Fairing is in Illinois. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you coming on. I do these lives every single day, Monday through Friday. I also have a show called On Air with Russell of Hotels, which is a live hospitality talk show. Similar to this, but it's more in depth and it goes longer, right? So this one's going to be probably, no more than 30 minutes, hopefully. And then the show on Tuesdays, 1:00 Tuesdays, live here on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, goes for about an hour. Okay, at least an hour it's going to go. So talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of hospitality. Mostly good, but we all know that when you work in this hospitality space, there can be some stuff going on, right? So it's not always good. I mean, those are things that we always want to throw out, but it can be challenging sometimes too. And I share my experiences. So remember, everything I talk about is based on my experiences, not based on what somebody told me, not based on what I got out of a book, not based on theory. It's based on real life experiences from me, and maybe some people I had conversations with people, but I'm normally in those conversations as well. So, and then Randy says, I appreciate you talking about the difference. Yes. Yeah, I try to keep it as real as I can, Randy. So I appreciate that. I really do. So yeah, so today I was at this hotel, and I was doing a site inspection, a site tour, and a lunch. How many years have you had? Oh, now some good questions here, Randy. He says, how many years have you been in the hospitality business? Well, let's just, I'm going to put it at between 25 and 30. Between 25 and 30 years, 14 different hotels. And that's not counting the hotels I did task force at. So I just say the ones I worked permanently at, and that was 14. So I did probably another 3 or 4 task force, but I don't really count those because task force, you got an expiration date. You don't know when you're working for a hotel, you don't know when you're gonna leave, right? You don't know when you're gonna leave or when you're gonna be asked to leave. but yeah, so no, 14 different hotels, 25 to 30 years in between there. We are old. He said, we are old. I'm at 25. Yeah, no, we're seasoned. Let's use the word seasoned, Randy. We don't have to say we're old, okay? Let the other people say that, but we don't ever want to say that, right? So we're seasoned hospitality professionals that have a lot to add. I'm a Hilton boy. Okay, I actually started my career with Marriott years ago. So, but I probably worked at as many Hiltons as I worked at Marriott, though. But I did start at Marriott Corporate years ago as a housekeeping manager, actually in the LAX area, and then transitioned to a Hilton property. It wasn't Hilton managed, but it was or Hilton owned, but it was a Hilton branded property. That's when all the management companies started popping up and all that kind of stuff. So I worked for, I don't know, out of the 14 different hotels, I would say probably at least 5 were Hiltons and some Marriotts, and then I did a Radisson. Yeah, so I did a couple of them. Okay, what else did he say? Let's see. Knowledgeable. Yes. Yes, we're well seasoned and we're knowledgeable. There you go. So there you go. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. So So yeah, so make sure you follow if you don't follow me already or subscribe to me on Instagram. I mean on LinkedIn, please do on YouTube, excuse me. Please do that. And I'm sure I mean we're already connected on LinkedIn, I see. But yeah, I do these every day. Just whatever the topic is, I talk about today. I've worked in, let's see what did he say? Said, I work in downtown Chicago. I love Chicago. You speaking of Hilton, I've done so many we used to do road shows in Chicago for the Midwest market, right? And we would stay at the Hilton, the Palmer House. The Palmer House. I remember I'll give you a story about the Palmer House. Now, the Palmer House, it's got to be like 130 years old now, right? So I don't know if they purposely give me the small rooms when I go there, but I always got the smallest room and it faced a brick wall. I don't know why I always end up getting that room, but I always did. But I love the Palmer House. I love the Palmer House. So Chicago, I have good memories of doing sales calls in Chicago. What a fun downtown area that they have in Chicago. I see Marie Corey. Hi Russell, are you back in LA? Yes, I'm back in LA. Are you back in the LBC? Are you back in the LBC? Let's see. Yes, the Drake. Yes, Drake, Palmer House, Conrad. Yes, 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 yes. Those are yeah. You worked at all three of those? Yeah, I love the Palmer House and the Drake. Conrad. I'm trying to think if I ever stayed at the Conrad. I'm not sure if I stayed there before, but they do. LOL. Yes. And then Marie says she is back. She is back in town. Yeah, Marie she's been quite the globe trotter lately. Okay, so you said year. Oh, you worked there for years. So Marie's back from globe trotting. She's been around the world several times. Okay, she's been down under twice. I mean, who goes down under like twice in like 6 months? Okay, well she did. Okay, but hey, but no, she's let's see what Marie said. She says, love Chicago too. Made sales calls there and attended trade shows. Yeah, 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 yeah. We used to do roles, like I said, when I was with Hilton, we have a national sales manager, right, or national sales director. They would be in charge of doing this road show. And people from all over, the United States would come, and we would meet in Chicago, downtown Chicago, at the Palmer House, whatever, and we would do sales calls. We had teams. We would go in and do our presentations and all that. That was kind of cool. That was I had a lot of fun doing that. Yeah, I did it probably 2 or 3 times, something like that. So yeah, it was always fun. Good times. Let's see. Mary says, love Chicago and made sales calls there. Yes, I think. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes, 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 yes. So no, it's always been fun. This whole sales journey has been, and I forget about some of the things that we used to do back then, right? To get business and, all the road shows. Kind of forget. And when somebody comes on and reminds me, like Randy came on and kind of reminded me when he mentioned Chicago and Hilton, that's what reminded me of that, doing all these road shows and all that kind of stuff. So it was, yeah, those are some, man, those were some fun times, right? I remember doing a road show with LA Tourism back in the day to Canada. That was the first time I've been to Canada. And we did a road show. We did like 3 or 4 cities over the course of, I think, a week. And we did it we flew into Edmonton and took a motor coach, a bus that went from, I can't remember all the cities, all the stops, but we would meet on travel agents. We would talk to travel agents. We would do presentations. That was one of the dopest experiences that I've had as well. So yeah, so it was this industry. Why people don't want to go into it? I don't understand. But anyway, it was fun. So Randy says, what your take on housekeeping? What's my take on housekeeping now, or when I started? What do you mean? I'm not. You got to be more specific. I started off as a housekeeping manager 100 years ago, and I think it's still the same now. I'm not sure. Yeah, let me know what you mean by that. What's my take on housekeeping? Cleaning rooms every day, or the lack of staff? What? I was at a hotel. Speaking of housekeeping, I was at a hotel over the week, no, last weekend in Oakland, and they're back to cleaning rooms on a daily basis, right? And that's the first. I think that's the first hotel since I've been going to since COVID that now is cleaning their rooms every single day. So I was kind of surprised coming back to the room and the housekeeper's in there cleaning the room. She goes, "Oh, give me 10 minutes." I'm like, "Oh, no, no problem. Take 20." I didn't know we were back to cleaning rooms. So on a daily basis. So if that's what you're asking, I'm not sure. Um, hot mess trying to, yes, hot mess trying to hire. Yeah. To be honest, I think people have a bad taste in their mouth about how they were treated, before COVID. You know what I mean? And now it's biting. And I'm gonna say us because I'm in the industry, right? It's biting us on the butt now because I don't think we treated our employees fairly, specifically the people in housekeeping. I think we were trying to do more with less, and now you really see what more with less is now, right? But I just think that yeah, I just think that we weren't doing people right. I think we were overworking people. I don't think we were having conversations to let people know that we're on their side, or were we even having conversations just to see how people were doing? I don't know because I'm getting a lot of feedback from people that I used to work with, and they're saying those same things. They're like, I don't think we treated our employees the way we should have. I don't think we treated them fairly. I don't think we, spend enough time talking to them, or at least just saying, how are you doing? How's the family? Getting to know people. I mean, that's basically how we as managers should treat all our employees, right? And a lot of times, and I see this all the time, managers they only worry about their departments. They don't worry about the entire hotel. And correct me if I'm wrong, but most managers are specific to their departments. And that's one thing that I had never been about. I've always been about hotel first, department second. I can care less what department you're in. If I see something, if I'm gonna praise somebody, I'm gonna praise them because they did a great job, not because they were in my department, right? Or if they did something wrong, if I had to, talk to somebody about something, it didn't matter what department they came from. I let the managers know that I had a conversation with them, but I think that we lose sight that these are our employees. This is our hotel because we are a manager. And being a manager comes with a lot of responsibility, not just for your department, but for the entire hotel. And I don't think we take that as serious as we should. Oh, let me see. Now somebody's trying to call me, and I can't talk to him right now. Let's see. Trying to hire hot mess. Let's see. What is Randy says? We clean every 5 days, but it's for request only. Okay. Okay. So staffing issues are still not to where they should be. And next question, the next thing he says, if they had stuff, we give it. If they need stuff, we give it. Okay, gotcha. Um, and then they need to be paid more. Boom, you said it. Yes, they need to be paid more. Yes. Or just, and that's a good point. Yeah, I would say yes, but I think more, Randy, they need to be recognized and recognized and what else I'm trying to say? Encouraged. You're doing a great job. We appreciate you. Appreciate it. Yes. Encourage and appreciate it, right? And recognize. Those are things we need to do. Money, yeah, of course they everybody wants more money, right? That's always a good thing. But I just don't think we give them the recognition. And sometimes people just want that. They just want to have a conversation. They just want to be recognized and noticed for doing something great. You know what I mean? Doing something or knowing that, they got the hardest job in the hotel. It's a thankless position. And I can only say this because I worked in the department. Okay. I worked, 3 to 5 years. My first job was in housekeeping, was as a housekeeping manager. So I know. So I've always had a soft spot for that department. and for the people to work there, because I know they bust their butt. They bust their butts, and the people that don't recognize that and don't sit down, and when they're in the break room and sit down and have a conversation and be like, well, I don't speak Spanish. What the hell is that got to do with anything? Learn it then, okay? I only know this little bit of Spanish I have is because I tried, right? Because when I worked there, I tried. And people appreciate that, right? That's the thing. We don't try enough. We're not, we're not recognizing enough. We're not, patting people on the back enough. And I just think that that's come back to bite us on the butt. And then now we're dealing with that. But in Oakland, it seemed like they had a full staff, right? They were cleaning rooms every day. It wasn't just a refresh or just emptying trash and all that stuff. No, they were clean. They were changing sheets. I'm like, wow, this is okay. All right. I didn't want to, I didn't want to stop anything. So I just said, oh, okay. All right. I just, kept it going. I'm like, okay. But, I didn't ask when I checked in. Normally I would ask, what is the protocol now? But I haven't even asked lately. The last probably 3 hotels I've stayed in, I didn't even ask because I wanted to see what was going to happen, right? So I didn't ask in Oakland, and it's just all of a sudden I see them cleaning rooms, right? So I'm like, cool, all right. So I'm just glad that at least they're back. They're back to where it should be. Randy says appreciation needs more. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then we got Craig Claire Carbonaire Jr., CHDM, heart of the house. There you go, heart of the house. That's it, heart of the house. So yeah, no, they're the heart of the house, and we need to treat them as heart of the house, right? We need to, like I said, more recognition. Money always helps. Money always helps, but we need to get back to when we talk about hospitality. This is funny. This is the thing. We always want our employees to show hospitality, and hospitality is how you're made to feel, right? It's a feeling that you get from person to person. But are we doing the same things for our employees? We know that we want our employees to do that, to extend that to the guests. But do we worry about our internal customers, right? As managers, do we worry about our internal customers? Because it starts with them. So if we're taking care of them the right way, they take care of our guests, right? So hospitality is not just to be extended to the guests, it should be extended to our employees, our associates too, or other managers. We need to treat them as well as we would treat anyone else, or treat them the way we want to be treated. And I think we dropped the ball on that. Okay, we dropped the ball on giving hospitality to our own people. And I don't think, like I said, money's always good, but people want to be treated with respect. And when you don't treat people with respect, this is what happens. People leave and don't come back. They find other things to do. And plus you're dealing with, probably a retirement, age range where it's close to retirement anyway. And the people that are coming behind them don't want to work in housekeeping. So we got to make it more appealing. We got to be creative about how we're hiring people. We can't be hiring people the same way. We need to be doing I see people doing some people are against this, doing some damn TikTok videos. Hey, we're hiring here. We got, showcase some employees that are enthusiastic about their jobs, that love their jobs, right? Show that, put that video out, okay, on whatever, on Instagram, on TikTok, or whatever. You'd be surprised how much more receptive they are to that, to getting, videos, to seeing videos of people having fun. You get having fun, and I get paid for this too, So we got to be more creative. We can't just do the things that we've been doing to get people, right? Obviously, that's not working, right? You're not getting the right type of people. You're not getting the caliber of people. You're not getting people that want to stay, right? I keep hearing that a lot too. Like, we hire people, we train them, and then in 2 weeks they're gone. Well, what are we doing during this training process? Are we really training them? Are we kind of going a once over for a couple of days and throwing them to the wolves? I mean, what are we doing? Look at the training process. I just had a conversation with somebody 2 days ago, and we were talking about, he wasn't in housekeeping. He worked as a barista at a Hilton, right? And he was saying that He's the only one in the morning, right? Sometimes it gets busy, and I'm the only one that, I'm making this and making that, making coffee, tea, all this stuff, right? And he said they hired other people, they trained the people, but they last like a week, 2 weeks, and they're gone. Some people don't even show up. They get hired, they don't show up. They get hired, they get trained for a couple of days, they don't come back. How are we training these people? Are we? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I just don't know. But anyway, let's see. What did Randy say? I'm a guest service manager. I oversee breakfast and front desk, but I walk around and talk with housekeepers and give them drinks, small things, and buy things from the. You know what? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Those are things that make a huge difference. That sometimes we forget about that, And I'll tell you what I used to do, and I appreciate you saying that, because that brings up other stuff, right? When you say things, that brings up things that I remember that I used to do. Even I was a director. My last job, and I guess it didn't matter what positions I had, but I'm just going to give you the last two jobs that I had were, one was a general manager of a hotel, and then one was a director of sales and marketing. And it didn't matter the positions that I had. I still checked rooms, right? I still checked 5 rooms a day, okay? Because I just wanted to. First of all, it was a way for me to get out of my office, right, and talk to people, meaning the housekeepers, and just see, it wasn't necessarily was I inspecting rooms. I was just checking rooms, right? I was doing it more for the conversation that I would have with the housekeepers, or just let them know that, if you needed something, I was here, right? So what I would do, and I would make sure I did it around 3:00, because this is back when I was eating candy, right? So back then I love these Snickers bars, the little fun size Snicker bars. And I would have those, I would have bags of those. And I would take them to the housekeepers, right? And they would, like, around 3:00, because that at 3:00 you need that pick me up, right? At least that's, even in sales, I needed a pick me up to get me through the next 2.5, 3 hours, right? So I would have these things at my desk, and not that I needed to be eating them anyway, but I would go up to the floors, check the rooms, and then give them one or two, of these fun size candy bars, and they would just like. They would be looking for them. They would get used to me doing that, and they would be waiting for that every day, almost every day, 5 days a week when I check rooms. But I would check, I wouldn't check the same rooms every day. I would, go through different floors. I think we had the last hotel maybe had 15 floors, so I would check different housekeepers on different floors. But yeah, so that makes a huge difference, because when I would go down into the break room, they would know who I was, because a lot of times they didn't know the previous director of sales. The previous director of sales never came down to talk to them, never did any of that stuff. Well, I never want to be that person, right? So I wanted to make sure people knew who I was. So people at the front desk, just like the people in housekeeping need to know me, just like the people at the front desk or the people in the restaurant, whatever. So that's the attitude that I had. And yeah, if I needed to, have candy or whatever, that's what I did. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's good. I like that. I like that. So keep doing that too. Keep doing that stuff. I mean, that makes a huge difference. People don't realize, but it's the little things that make a big difference. And that's a form of hospitality, right? That's treating people with hospitality. Doesn't have to be the guests all the time. Start with your employees. Start with, that internal guest. We always use that term. That's for people. For people that don't know what that is, your internal guests are your employees, okay? Your associates. And we need to treat them with a little bit more respect than we've been treating them, okay? And then maybe we can keep some of these, you don't have to keep hiring people. There you go. So that's what I got to say about that. So I'm glad you guys asking me these questions or making comments, because that keeps me talking and keeps me going, right? So I don't know if some people are like, well, maybe you need to stop asking so we can shut this guy up and he can get off this live. But no, I appreciate Craig. I appreciate Randy. I appreciate Marie, Corey. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys coming on. But like I said, I'm Russell of Hotels. I do these things every single day. I call them, this is my daily check-in, right? So sometimes I do these live from a hotel. Sometimes I do these live in my office, and I actually just post a picture and back, so you think I'm at that hotel. But I was there today. I was actually here today, and they have a rooftop bar. They have, but it's not open to the public. It's open for private functions, and I didn't know that. Okay, so I'm talking of the Hyatt Place and Hyatt House, LAX. So I didn't know that. So you don't know some of this stuff unless you actually go, right, and get the full dog and pony show. Because I've been to this hotel before, but it's hard to get on the floors, right? Because of the elevator, right? So if you don't have a key to get in the elevator, you just can't punch in the code and it's going to take you up, right? You don't know the code, right? So it's best, and I'm finding this out because I'll go to hotels and just explore on my own if I can. But it's best to just check in with the salespeople and say, hey, can you give me a tour, right? And I did that actually. Oh, I was going to tell a story about how I met Sergio Marquez, right? So, okay. So Sergio Marquez, I knew him from a previous hotel. He actually showed me around at the Aloft and Fairfield Inn, which is in, I guess it's El Segundo, right? Which is right on Sepulveda in the Los Angeles X area, LAX area. So this is some years ago. This is way before COVID, right? So, and it was it wasn't even open yet. So this hotel converted from an old hotel to a new Fairfield Inn, and they built a brand new Aloft next door to it. Okay, so he was like a sales manager at this dual property. So, but that was the first time I met him, and that was I hadn't seen him since in years. So I sent out an RFP a couple of weeks ago for a group I had coming to Los Angeles. Well, and he got that RFP. Well, they ended up not getting business. Okay. They didn't get the business, right? But what he did was he recognized my name from meeting him about 3 or 4 years ago. And he called me, right? He didn't email me. Listen, salespeople. He didn't email me. He called me. And he said, hey, I'm not sure if you remember me, but I gave you a tour of the Fairfield and the Aloft property some years ago. I said, I remember you. I said, yeah, you took me around and showed me all this stuff. It was kind of behind the scenes because it wasn't open yet. And he said, oh, you do remember me? I said, yeah, I remember you. I didn't remember his name, but I remember the situation, right? So he said, why? And then we went into the group that why didn't they choose, why did they choose certain hotels? And I told him why, and which a salesperson should ask, why did you lose out on the piece of business? And he said, well, is there anything else you have coming up? I said, well, right now I don't. And he said, well, can you have time to come over? He said, you should come over for lunch sometime. So I said, okay, let's do it. So he sent me an email, kind of just, reintroducing himself and just reminded me of the conversation, which I knew, or I remembered the conversation. And I emailed him on Friday and said, hey, I'm available on Monday if you're available for lunch. He said, yeah, come on down. So I went today for lunch and the tour. And what I'm saying is, not enough salespeople do that, right? When you lose business to your competition, that's okay, because that creates an opportunity for you to say, hey, do you have anything else coming into the area that we can bid on? You know what I mean? I mean, that opens up another conversation, and that creates that relationship that we all salespeople want to, get to, that relationship. Let's build this relationship, that kind of thing. Well, it starts with him picking up the phone. He picked up the phone, called me, invited me for lunch, came over for lunch, showed me everything. We had just this great conversation. Like I've known this guy for like years, right? And he told me how he started in the industry. His mom actually worked, so he's like second generation hotel person. He has a unique story, right? And I always say there's no two people that got in this industry alike. So I asked him, he didn't know I had this show that I on air with Russell of Hotels every Tuesday at 1:00, live here on LinkedIn, live on YouTube. He didn't know that. And I told him, I said, hey, subscribe to my channel and follow me and blah, 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 whatever. And I said, hey, you need to come on the show because he, like I said, he has a unique story, and I want him to, to come on and tell me his story. So he agreed to, and I said, we'll figure it out the date, whenever. And he said, cool. He said he'd love to come on. So that's what it's all about, right? It's all about making that connection. It's all about following up. If you don't get a piece of business, that's okay. What's the next step? Do you have any more business coming in this area? Or transient business? It doesn't always have to be group business. And one thing that I'm starting to tell more people, that I represent organizations. It has nothing to do with just groups. All these groups I mean, all these companies don't just have group business; they have transient business too. But we're always looking at because a lot of our group salespeople are responsible for a group, right? So they won't ask that other question. Do you have any single reservations or anything like that? Maybe you can set up a BT rate or whatever, business travel rate or whatever. So they never take it a step further because they're not responsible for that. We need to just be total hotel. We just can't focus on one thing because you're missing out on other things, right? You're missing out on business. Okay, so when I talked to him today, I mentioned about I asked him about transient rooms and things like that, single reservations, and he said, yeah, we can set up something like that Russell of Hotels rate, right? So of course they want the group business, and I understand that, but let's say I only have transit business coming in. Well, you don't want that. You just want business, right? So that's the attitude that I always had, because when you're in bigger hotels, of course, you have people that are responsible for transit, you have people that are responsible for groups, right? So my job is just to bring the business in and disseminate it to whoever was responsible. But I'm looking for everything. I'm not just looking for this one particular piece of business. No, I want all the business, right? And that's how we should think about that. That's the mindset we all should have. Salespeople, whoever, no matter what market segment you're designated to, the job should be just to bring business in. Okay, so did I explain that a little? Did I go overboard on that? I don't know. So let's get back to the question. So Randy says, what did Randy say? I'm back. Had to eat. Hello. Okay, you're entitled to do that. That sounds good. Oh man, but this has been fun. But no, I thank you guys for coming on. Like I said, it makes these things, it makes them longer, which is good, because the more people talk about certain things, the more it jogs things in my memory about my experiences and things like that. So I appreciate Randy for coming on, as well as Craig, and of course Marie, Corey. Who else? Did anyone else come on? Did I miss somebody else? Nope. But I do welcome. I always welcome the comments. This is I encourage comments. This is interactive, right? I never want to do a show when people cannot respond with questions or whatever, because this is what it's all about. This is how we grow. This is how we start communities and things like that with people, sharing comments, sharing their experiences, sharing whatever comments, asking questions, whatever the case may be. We need more of that. So whenever I come on live, I'm coming to welcome those. I encourage the questions and the interaction. Okay, so I do. We could talk all day. Yeah, you know what? We sure could, but unfortunately, I don't have all day. But yeah, we can talk all day. Yeah, and I appreciate that, Randy. I really appreciate that. Come on again, please. I mean, and maybe we should talk about you coming on the show, right? I'm sure you have a unique story too. No two people got in this industry alike, right? And I love to have people come on the show and just have conversations. It's not about it. It's not an interview, because some people go, oh, you interviewed some. No, I don't interview anyone. We have conversations. We just have conversations talking about things that we know, things that we love within the space, right? So, yeah. So you're more than welcome to come on as well. So thank you so much. And he says, what did he say? He says, thank you for talking about the business. Me either what? What? Did I miss something? See, I sometimes miss, the comment. I've got plenty of stuff. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Stories are good, right? Stories and hospitality go hand in hand for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we all got tons of stories to share. And you're more than welcome to share. So there you go. But no, let's see. I did have one more video to show, or a video. I don't think I even showed that, right? So this is a Hyatt House room, okay? And remember, the Hyatt House has the kitchen in it, right? So that's the kitchen. Has a stove, has a refrigerator, microwave. So that's the bed part. And that TV right there is on a swivel. So if you're sitting on the couch, you can turn it to you. If you're in the bed, you can turn it back to the bed. So that's the difference between a Hyatt house room and a Hyatt place room. Hyatt house has the kitchen, and there you go. But I love the decor. I love the carpet. I don't know if it makes it look bigger. I don't know what it is, but it's different type of carpet, and I love that. All day long, he says you can talk. I understand. I understand. Me too. Me too. So, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this and just talk about and thank Mr. Sergio Marquez for inviting me over for the lunch and the tour. I appreciate the tour because there's space out there that people need to know about, and I didn't like I said I didn't know that actually space even um, existed at that hotel. Rooftop, you got views of the airport, which are phenomenal because you're right in between four runways. Okay, so you can see the planes take off, you can see the planes landing, and you guys know what tail watchers are. Some people don't even know this is a thing, right? So hotels that have like a rooftop or a penthouse area, you'll get a lot of these people. They come from around the world, right? They're called tail watchers. So what they do is I don't know all the ins and outs of everything, but they look at the tail numbers on planes that are coming in and leaving, and they log them. Like say I saw this United Airline tail number, whatever, 7-995, whatever, leave LAX at this time, and they'll log these down. And they'll go to different airports around the world and see if they see those same ones. And they're logging all these things in, and then every now and then they'll come across the same plane that they saw because they're looking at the tail numbers. They're called tail watchers. I don't know if it's an association. I don't know what they call themselves, but I got hip to this when I was at the Hyatt. It's a Hyatt now. It's a Radisson, and we had tons of people on our rooftop they had binoculars, they had everything. They would see the tail numbers, they would log them down, and I asked them one day, I said, well, what are you guys doing? They said, well, we're tail watchers, and we log, we follow, planes. We go to airports throughout the world, and we monitor the planes coming and going, and if it's a plane we've never seen before or a tail number we've never seen before, we write it down. And if we see it before, we put a check mark, like we saw this at, LaGuardia Airport, whatever. I mean, I'm just using that as an example, but very interesting, very interesting. So this hotel has a rooftop that's just ideal for that, right? Because you can see everything that's going on at LAX, you can see it at this particular hotel. Let's see what Randy says. Good looking room, new property. It was opened up in 2021. Opened up in 2021. So it's still in really good condition. You know what I just found out about this property? They just actually put a sales team on property before it was being handled at another property. So no one was really actively doing site inspections or site tours at this property. People were just, I guess, booking sight unseen, or they can go in on their own, but there was not a sales presence at this hotel. So now there is one. In fact, the gentleman, Sergio Marquez, is the first director of sales to actually be at this property. So, which is great because they need someone there because they have a lot of, like I said, a lot of unique space that a lot of people don't even know about. And you need someone there to show people. You just can't go off of, who puts a lot of faith in, yeah, everyone needs a website and all that, but sometimes, we look at some of these photos and videos on the website, like, does this look like this? We're questioning if it does actually look like this. And we all know sometimes we go to these hotels and they don't look anything like the website pictures or the photos or the videos or whatever. So you actually need somebody on property to show this property, to give it justice, and they just hired someone. So congratulations again to Sergio, and thank you again for showing me the property. So that's it. So thank you guys so much for joining this quick little daily check-in. Well, it wasn't quick. It was 44 minutes. I try to keep these under 30, but, it's okay. When you have a conversation, it's all right. It's okay. So anyway, I do these every day, Monday through Friday. I do two of them, one on Instagram and one here on LinkedIn and YouTube. So feel free to join me. And remember, tomorrow is On Air with Russell of Hotels. My live hospitality talk show comes on at 1 o'clock PST. Talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of hospitality and everything in between. So that's it. You guys have a great day. Thank you again. Have a good evening. Make sure you guys watch the Lakers' last game tonight. It will be a wrap after tonight, just so you guys know. I know somebody's like, that's not funny, Russell. We're going to win tonight. Yeah, right. Anyway. So anyway, you guys have a great day. And thanks again, you guys, for joining in and making your comments. Feel free to come back. Peace.